In 1950, President Harry S. Truman recognized there was a problem in the way in which schools were being funded in this country. He realized that the conventional tax system had some gaps that left some schools at a distinct disadvantage simply because the students attending those schools were the children of military personnel.
The Impact Aid program was formulated as a result of recognition by the federal government that they had removed taxable lands from the tax rolls. In 1950, President Truman and congressional members got together and brainstormed to figure out how they could supplement school districts that were losing money as a result of the federal presence in their communities. The outcome of that was the Impact Aid program.
The essence of the program is a replacement of lost property tax due to federal presence through either military installations, Indian reservations, low-rent housing, or loss of other land due to federal property presence.
Impact Aid is the oldest national education program the federal government has. In the case of Impact Aid, the federal government actually caused the problem. And so I think that's what kind of sets us apart from other federal education programs.
Well, the federal government has an obligation to reimburse the localities for the taxes they would have received, but for the fact that the federal government is tax exempt.
So the money's got to follow those children into the school, or it's going to hurt the overall school, not just the military or Native American children, but the entire population. So what it does, it gives parity to that school in relation to a school that's not impacted.
Today, the definition of what constitutes a federally impacted school is a little broader than what Truman first promised, but its purpose is the same. It provides funds for children whose parents do not pay into the educational system in a traditional way. There are 1.2 million students who are considered federally impacted. They're located in 1,400 school districts that educate a total of 15 million children. Impact Aid helps ensure that these 1,400 districts get proper educational funding to educate the entire 15 million students. There are 5 main types of schools that are considered federally impacted. They serve children of our armed forces personnel, children who reside on Indian trust or treaty land, children residing in federal low-rent housing projects, children whose parents are civilian but who work or live on federal property, such as at a national park, and those that have lost part of their tax base because of the purchase of land by the federal government after 1938. To be eligible for basic impact aid support, a school district must have an average daily attendance of at least 400 federally connected students, or 3% of the total students of that district.
All of the money that is appropriated in Impact Aid goes directly to serve needs of students in every school that receives that funding. No money is taken off the top for any bureaucracy, any administration, any state program. It all goes directly to the individual school districts.
Impact Aid is not a forward-funded program, which means, unlike other education programs, it depends on Congress appropriating the money in the year in which the school year begins.
Half of the local government funds go to education, and anything that is a significant drain on local educational funds obviously adversely affects education. Impact Aid is there to offset that adverse impact.
The Impact Aid law is scheduled for reauthorization in 2007. In the midst of stiff competition for dollars, the need to support the schools affected by a federal presence and the children they serve remains strong.
It's extremely important to reauthorize it. If it were not to be reauthorized and the program stop, it would have a traumatic effect on many schools across the country.
We will pass a reauthorization of Impact Aid. If we wouldn't, it would be a great drain on the schools.
It is a federal responsibility. It's a federal duty, if you will, for the Congress of the United States to provide resources as it can to support the educational opportunities.
It's important to fully fund the program because the Impact Aid is a substantial portion of a lot of localities' educational budget. If you don't fund it, there's a hole in the budget. Things are going to have to be cut. You have to cut teachers, number of teachers, increase class size, not be able to buy the kinds of things that are important, computers, other kinds of equipment, school construction.
So these dollars that we receive are necessary for us to maintain whatever standard we have in our school district, and there's not a district that I know that will not be hurting in terms of services to children if impact aid funds are missing.
Proper funding can change the way students learn. The monies received from impact aid makes a dramatic difference in those schools that receive funds.
As with any program, when you have inadequate dollars to fully fund the program, you're going to have to prioritize and make decisions on where you're going to spend your resources. As we get more and more mandates, and in many instances unfunded mandates, from the federal and state governments, we find ourselves using the impact aid dollars to supplement or to help us bridge the gaps that are created by those mandates.
Impact aid funding has allowed us to align our curriculum to state standards. It has allowed us to purchase research-based high development programs in reading and mathematics, especially at the elementary level. It has helped us provide one-on-one tutoring and small group work to accelerate the learning needs for those students who have difficulty meeting the requirements for No Child Left Behind.
We utilize those dollars, our impact aid dollars, to support our classrooms. They assist us by keeping our class sizes low. They assist us with buses for transporting students. They assist us with operational cost. It assists us in repairs and maintenance of our buildings.
With the many military communities that are in impact aid right now, counseling in particular has become a very critical issue. We have a number of parents deployed into the Middle East. Those children have a different kind of home life than they've had or they've known in past years. Those issues come to school and we get to deal with them.
So the impact aid funds are extremely important, and if we lose them, we have no other way to replace them. And we hope that Congress and others see the need for the impact aid funds in terms of resultant educational achievement.
The problem with the impact aid program is that it has not been fully funded since 1969, which has taken its toll on some districts. The lack of funding means schools cannot compete with surrounding districts, resulting in missed opportunities to educate children.
If impact aid money were to go away, I believe that over 50% of the Indian Lands districts in the United States would have to close their doors. They would not be able to provide one-on-one and small group instruction. Consequently, many of their students would not meet the No Child Left Behind requirements and subsequently would not meet graduation requirements for high school.
Our course offerings would be limited. We would have to cut back on some of the classes that are high interest level for our kids. Native American history, Native Nez Perce language, different courses like the horticulture and fisheries that we developed to work with the tribe on some of their programs.
Impact aid funds have become absolutely critical to the success of our school district.
And if we don't get the staff and funding, our students will still be struggling and they'll still be left behind.
The National Association of Federally Impacted Schools is a nonprofit, nonpartisan corporation of school districts whose goal is to educate Congress on the importance of impact aid. It was founded in 1973 to ensure federally connected school districts continue to receive federal impact aid funds. It remains active today to fight for proper funding, reauthorization, and the rights of the federally connected child.
The National Association of Federally Impacted Schools has been an outstanding umbrella group linking all parts of the impact aid program or all component groups.
They're an outstanding contact. They're a wealth of information. They're invaluable to us as a resource.
We come from 50 different states with different funding mechanisms in each state. NAFIS has given us a common ground to operate from. NAFIS is a wonderful networking system for schools that deal with federally impacted students.
NAFIS's main job is to keep the program going in the right direction, to keep the program viable, to keep the program alive. If NAFIS would disappear tomorrow, impact aid as a program as it currently exists would not be here. It just would not function.
Since 1950, Impact Aid has helped federally impacted schools educate children who live on our federal lands or whose parents work on federal properties. It has helped educate the children of our armed forces, our Native Americans, and our federal employees. Every child has the right to a quality education, and the federal government has an obligation to ensure every school district has the proper funds so no child is left behind. Impact Aid is the way that happens. It's how the federal government pays its taxes so local school districts can afford the same educational programs and opportunities as non-impacted districts. It is what President Truman promised, and Congress must continue.